Aberdonian. He prefers to be called Aberdeen, and he handles the passenger trains on the Rossworth Vale. He was built in 1906 and arrived on the railway in 1910. However, he was having steaming issues and wasn't able to tackle the trains like he used to. One morning, he was in the workshops. He was having one of his cylinders repaired. He heard footsteps. Just then, he saw Mr. Lance walk up to the workshops. "How are you, Aberdeen? I heard about your cylinder."
"I'm feeling fine, sir. This could happen to anyone."
"I suppose you're right. Anyways, you should be back in service tomorrow, in which case, could you show a new engine around?"
"A new engine?"
"He's an LNERA1. His name is Centenary. He won't be on the railway too often, and will handle the longer trains that you, Penn, or Simon can't."
"I see. Well, I'll be sure to make him feel welcome."
"I trust that you will." There was a long silence, but Mr. Lance was the one to break it. "You know, Aberdeen, you've matured greatly. I mean, I still remember when you arrived in 1910. You were hot-headed, arrogant, short-tempered."
"You know I had some good qualities back in the day, right?"
"I know, but I just want to say, of all the age classes, I'm glad that I chose you to run on the line."
"Thanks, sir."
Mr. Lance went back to his office as the workmen continued to work on Aberdeen's cylinder. Aberdeen returned to the sheds later that evening. He was surprised to find the engines in the shed chatting.
"Right, Derby will take the win this year."
"You're mad, mate. Southampton has it in the bag this year."
"It's Scotland. End of story."
Aberdeen, that cylinder fix didn't take too long."
"Yeah, they did a good job. Plus, there's gonna be a new engine arriving tomorrow."
"You mean Centenary?"
"Yeah, you know him?"
"I've met him a few times when I take my goods trains to London. He's a very pompous engine and seems to believe he's better than anyone."
"Sounds like Aberdeen."
"What is with everyone taking shots at me today?"
"Just messing with you, mate." Back to the topic. Our A3 has always put me on edge with his arrogance. However, he still works hard. He arrives earlier than any other engine I've seen.
"I bet he doesn't arrive earlier than I do."
"You'd be surprised. I've seen those A1s. They go pretty fast." "Oh, have some faith in Aberdeen. I think he'll do fine. I mean, this is my best friend we're talking about."
"Thanks, Penn, but I am worried about one thing."
"What's that?"
"That I'll have to stop doing Grunsby on Sandsworth." "I wouldn't worry too much about that."
"Yeah, alongside me, you're one of the main passenger engines on the line."
"I suppose so."
"Yep. Anyways, let's go to sleep." The engines went to sleep. However, Aberdeen still had some concerns.
"Goodness! What was that?"
Coming to the sheds was an LNER A1. He was big, green, and had the nameplates Centenary on his sides. Hello there to you all. Hello there, I'm Penn. Welcome to the Rossworth Vale. A pleasure to meet you all.
"Hello there, Centenary."
"Ah, Bradford, how are you? I didn't know you worked here."
"I'm fine."
"Anyways, my name's Aberdeen. Today, you're going to be with me. I suggest taking up some coal and water before you leave." "I shall." Centenary rolled away from the sheds.
"Well, he certainly sounds pompous."
"Ah, come on. Give him a chance. He's only been here a few minutes."
"Maybe alright. Anyways, I'd best head out too."
Aberdeen left the sheds and headed towards the station. At the station, Justin was working hard to arrange a long line of coaches. "Oh, do hurry up, you scruffy little shunter. It can't be that hard."
"I'm working." "Have some patience. He's working as hard as he can back there."
"Clearly, he's not working hard enough."
And done. Now the passengers have to board. Oh great, now another delay. Soon, the passengers boarded, and the two engines set off. Aberdeen was surprised at the speed Centenary was moving. He felt as if he was being dragged along and doing hardly any work. The two engines arrived at Sandsworth a whole 10 minutes early. The passengers were surprised. Aberdeen was even more surprised. I take it you haven't arrived at this early before? No, I can't say I have. Exactly, and had that shunter been quicker while shunting, we might have been earlier. The two engines left to head on to Scotland. Aberdeen was still not set on Centenary's attitude. Centenary continued to have an outstanding performance on the passenger trains. He was on time with all the trains he was tasked with. He wasn't late at all. This led Mr. Lance to putting him on more express services. However, at the same time, he would neglect Aberdeen. This made Aberdeen feel a sense of uselessness. However, Alan had come to talk with him.
I know what you're thinking.
Is it that obvious?
Yes, indeed. Listen, Aberdeen, your usefulness hasn't run out.
You're wrong. I mean, I've been sitting in the shed since that new engine arrived.
Remember, you were the third stable engine here to arrive after Alec.
I know that, but I just can't stop worrying.
Well, don't. Be faithful, and hopefully you'll be let out soon.
Thanks, mate. I can always rely on you for advice. And what about me? I mean, after all, I could teach you how to not stick on a hill.
Don't go there, Pendragon.
The three engines continued to talk, and Aberdeen was glad that two of his best friends hadn't given up hope on him. The next morning, Mr. Lance arrived at the sheds with some very interesting news.
Hello there, engines. Hello there, sir. You seem to be in a good mood.
I am. There's a train that needs to be taken. It's a passenger train. And Aberdeen, I want you to take it.
Really, sir? Thank you.
No problem. After all, you are the perfect engine to take this train.
I won't let you down, sir.
I know you won't. Sir, with all due respect, why not just choose me for such a job? After all, I'm a much better design. Just because you were built recently doesn't make you a better design. But I am better.
I don't have time for this. I'd best fill up on coal and water.
Aberdeen left the sheds, leaving Centenary seething. However, Penn wasn't done with the A3. You have some nerve to have a go at him like that. He's worked much harder than you ever have. You really want to go there? You're not even a member of the LNER, so you aren't able to talk. In fact, I don't see the point in any of you non-LNER engines. Having LMS and SR engines run on this line is simply disgraceful.
The only disgraceful thing here is your attitude. Every engineer works hard.
You know what? I'm sick of this railway and the engines. I'm going to see if I can leave this railway.
Good. Take that nasty attitude with you.
Aberdeen was ready to take the train. It was longer than usual, but Aberdeen was certain he could take it. Soon, the guard blew his whistle, and Aberdeen set off. He had switched on to the right track, and he started to pick up speed. However, as he rolled through high crags, he started thinking, was he really needed? Was he really useful? Just then, the coupling on the train snapped. It was at this moment Aberdeen lost all hope.
What? Where am I?
Ah, Aberdeen, you're awake.
Sir, why am I in the works?
Aberdeen, let me just start off by saying you've been in here for about 2 weeks now.
All I remember was coming off the rails, having an accident. The passengers, are they?
Luckily, you were so focused on doing your job well that you pulled the coupling too hard. The coupling did snap, of course. However, the coaches didn't come off the line.
That's good, but what about me?
Mr. Lance looked down at the floor.
Sir?
I regret to inform you, Aberdeen, that the board of directors have decided to make the decision to have you withdrawn and sent for scrap. Aberdeen felt like a brick had just been dropped on his boiler. Believe me, Aberdeen, I tried fighting this. I wanted to fight this. However, they wouldn't allow me to keep you on.
I understand, sir, but can I ask you something?
What is it?
Have you told the others?
No, I haven't. Now I need to figure out what to tell them.
Just tell them the truth, that I'm being withdrawn and sent for scrap. It's the fate of all engines, isn't it? That's what Alan had told me once.
I understand. A freight train will come pick you up in the morning. And Aberdeen?
Yes, sir?
Thank you. Thank you for everything you've done.
No, sir. Thank you. Thank you for allowing me a chance to stay here. I'm glad I accepted. I made such good friends, and I wouldn't have chosen anywhere else to live.
Mr. Lance gave Aberdeen one last smile. As he walked away, he gave a blank stare. Upon walking into his office, knowing he was alone, he allowed himself to cry. Mr. Lance arrived at the sheds in the evening. Sir, it's been 2 weeks. How is he? Mr. Lance was silent. A tear ran down his cheek. Pen, everyone, the accident was so bad, he's deemed almost irreparable. Therefore, the board has decided to withdraw Aberdeen. Everyone went silent. They all had dead, pale expressions on their smoke boxes. Withdrawn, sir? No, it can't be. Sir, didn't you try anything at all? Pen, I tried. I really did, but there was nothing I could do.
Aberdeen's going to be scrapped? I can't believe this. I truly can't believe this.
It can't be.
This can't be.
The engines continued to mutter in disbelief. Centenary, however, was silent. Not only was he surprised at the events that took place, he was also shocked that Aberdeen would be withdrawn. He knew now Mr. Lance would need him to stay. However, that wasn't what was bothering him. He thought it would feel good once he became the premier express engine and Aberdeen left. Now that it happened, he didn't feel good. He felt guilty. He felt the whole accident was his fault. The next day, a funeral was held for Aberdeen.
We lost a good friend, Aberdeen. He preferred to be called Aberdeen. He pulled passenger trains on the railway. He was built in 1906 and arrived here in 1910. I remember when he first arrived. He might have been arrogant and vain, but I could see deep down he was a good engine. He truly was my best friend. I know that he thought the same. We shall now have a moment of silence.